Hey, my friends, how you doing? Hold on, let me just turn the music off. I had to go back to different music because Facebook is getting copyright messages or whatever in different countries. So I've gone back to a little, the one I used for a couple years. Oh man, I'm really bouncing that. Um, So, welcome. I was actually just in the middle of loading the show onto a few different platforms because I forgot. Um, but but here we go. Let me just do that. Putting it out on Telegram, putting it on Truth Social, putting it on Facebook. So wherever you're at, uh, listening from, welcome, welcome, and I hope you're well this evening as we gear up for Thanksgiving. What's everyone got for Thanksgiving plans out there? I would love to know. Um, and also, Pete and Quasi Pete and Moonbeam can't be here tomorrow night, so I'm thinking about maybe taking tomorrow night off, but not sure. Let me know what you're up to and if you'd be up for a show. But I may even set up something with my family. So I'll post tomorrow on. Uh, Here we go. Let me just do this on. Snedheads and also on there we go, and I got to get my X on X as well. So if you guys could check out, double check to see if I'm going live there, that would be awesome. And let me just pin this and embed it for Snedheads. So the show is going up on Snedheads as we speak. And yeah, sorry I didn't get that in before the show, but busy, busy, busy dude. That's all I can say. All right, here we go. I need to unpin. There we go. Okay. So let me get to the chat, my friends. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. This is good. Good evening, Dave. Hi, was just speaking with my youngest sibling. Beautiful. Raven's Wings. I'm spending with my kids and granddaughter. We start cooking the day before. Some things are better cold. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Gobble till we wobble. Gino home with the family. Good to see you, Edward. Jasper's right behind me here, laying down. I took him for a hike, and so I think he got a good workout. Quasi Pete going to daughters and doing grandkids stuff. That sounds amazing. Honey, Beezy, family dinner for Turkey Day. Gobble, gobble. Awesome. What's up? What's up? Quasi Pete from Twitch years ago. Exactly. Exactly. Wendy cooking at my place. The North Forest is howling Mizzo. 50 mile an hour. Sounds like it. Tommy Renee working on Thanksgiving. There you go. Somebody stepping up. Go Hawks. What's up, Doc P? Good to see you. Go Hawkeyes. Folks, get your name on the wheel for a spin tonight. I hope we're going to get that done, especially since we're going into the holidays. I appreciate all your support of this Truthcast, which keeping the keeping the lights on, and yeah. So I appreciate it. Napping the neighbor's dog Friday rescue mission. Oh, geez. Okay. Good luck with that. God bless David and all of you at Thanksgiving. Thank you, Colleen. Um, Hunter Sabo going to be with the 34 indoctrinated family. What is, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, 34 people that are indoctrinated. J.O. Bear cooking Thanksgiving dinner for my 96-year-old father. Fantastic. I bet he's going to really appreciate that. That's awesome. Military tribunals for Christmas. Yeah, I'm going to take you to something here in a moment. Spending Thanksgiving Eve with family and a quiet Thanksgiving day at home in the old farmhouse. Awesome, Moonbeam. And how about Moonbeam last night? Wasn't she awesome? Wasn't it great to have her on? Yellow Risa, good to see you. Yeah, so Deb, going to my daughter's other daughter and 4 grands and husbands. Awesome. Yellow Risa, just small dinner for me and my fiance since we both work on Black Friday early in the morning. I watched a video on what goes on at the White House during Thanksgiving. Crazy. What does go on there at the White House? Yeah, that was awesome having you on. Very cool. Having Thanksgiving dinner with hubby at the nursing home. Jan, God love you, and give him our best. Polar Bear Paws Farm to Table Organic with the Pacas and fam. I'm passing on the turkey used to be a friend. She's talking about beautiful alpacas. Hi, Dave and Sneds. I'll be cooking a GF but delicious turkey dinner. Gluten free? Awesome, awesome, Mary. Well done. Very cool. Yes, she's awesome. Moonbeam. Very cool. Let's see. Cat Mother B. Hey, Dave and friends. Will be here going to Mass Saturday. Going to his Ma's on Saturday. Very cool. Yeah. Well, folks, it would be nice if if things were clearer and we weren't going in to situations. Cheers, by the way. Got my new Holly Marsh mug. Look at that. It would be great that if we were vindicated by now and we could walk in with a t-shirt that said, I fucking told you so. No, I'm kidding. But just to say, hey man, I gotta hand it to you. You were right. It sure would be nice to have a holiday like that started with that, and we don't have to rub it in, or we don't have to, do victory laps or, do cartwheels. Well, maybe we should do cartwheels, but just just the fact that I got to get my camera off the table. I'm sorry. Sometimes when I laugh or when I move around, I'm jiggling the camera. So I hope no one's getting seasick. But Pete just chugged me a coffee, had some Irish cream in it. Awesome, Pete. My last coffee, I had a little shot of whiskey in it. It was in the afternoon, my friends, so don't be concerned. It was after 4:30, maybe not after 5, but after 4:30. Ravens Wings, I've decided to enjoy life no matter what kind of shit is going on. That's a great outlook right there, I tell you. And we should all take a note from take a feather from Ravens Wings, if I may, and stick it in our cap and walk around joyously. Yeah. Let's see. Mike Barr, so nice to see you back on YouTube. I can watch you on my big screen. Thank you, Mike. It's good to be back. I've got 2 channels back. I'm going to try to get more, but this one goes back 4 years, and the other one I have goes back 3 years. And I was amazed when I got my account back. Actually, Polar Bear Paws gave me the heads up because she checked it out, and I had missed that email from YouTube. because fuck YouTube. I don't read my mail from YouTube. So and but I was amazed that the content was still there. I guess that's probably more of a liability issue. Yeah, make arrest great again. That would be awesome. So, um, uh, let's see. Let's see. um, Hunter says, no way. I'm 66 and still make a snow angel every year just to see if I can get up. That I tell you what, Kathleen, you got to put that on video, on, on video. That's hilarious. Catherine says, uh, I tried to see myself trying to get up actually, but then I thought, that snow would feel really good on my low back, the nice cold. Catherine says, my brother, full of TDS, is starting to see, and we're laughing and loving this time in our lives. That warms my heart right there. Thank you. Ravens Wings, yes, thank you. Please give a thumbs up, give a share, all that stuff. Yeah. Can see, and we are laughing. That's so heartwarming. Thank you. Isn't that great? I'm crying here. That was that's awesome. So my friends, I'm in a good mood, obviously, and I got to tell you, I don't think I was before I went live. I think you guys put me in a good mood. I guess I'm just kind of in a mood. Just just with everything going on, and still having hurdles that we all have to jump over. But yeah, so I was just in a mood, but coming on here, I got in a good mood really, really quickly. Yeah, thank you, Edward. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And yeah, appreciate the donations, my friends. And yeah, tag some influencers. Let's spread the good news. It's pretty yeah, it is important content, I believe. And yeah, we have that effect on people, Dave. I love it. Yeah. And yeah, we are on YouTube, and Dave is on Facebook and Twitter, the whole collection. Yeah. No, I haven't gotten my Facebooks back. I think that's five accounts on Facebook. I haven't gotten those back. And some of my YouTubes. Your teeth are so white, really. Yeah, I feel like I got to get something going on with those. But thank you. Yeah, and thank you, Moonbeam, for putting that up there, and the Snedheads Donation Nation page for more ways to support the show. And if you're not on snedheads.com, why not? My friends, you are being, I'm not suggesting that you replace all your social media, but you really do, I would benefit from getting into an environment where you're not having to defend propaganda, paid for, pro-Jewish Israel content. Listen, I'm pro-Jewish. I'm not pro-Israel. That's the difference, right? But they loop it together. Just like we're all racist because we voted for President Trump, the generalization, but just to be in a space and to not have um, all these assholes coming at you and bots and bot farms and all this shit. Like you don't understand how damaging that is to the spirit. And I open up my X account, by the way, and I might as well be, one of the Krasensteins, or actually, I think if they stood on one another, if one stood on the other's shoulder, they'd still be shorter than me. But I feel I'm getting all this ridiculous content, and it just sucks. Yeah. Um, Honey Beezy Dave, don't think you realize just how much you lift us up. We love you and appreciate all you do for us. Thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, Dave is the only guy who knows the truth. O and Q, laughing my ass off. Thank you. Yeah, and get your Snedeker, guys. Snedshop.myshopify.com. Great stuff for to wake people up, to let them know about us, if you're getting gifts or for yourself. The devil wants you to worry about everything you can't control. Don't give that idiot his way. Absolutely. Yeah, coconut oil and baking soda is good stuff. I need to start doing that. Yellow Reese, I start my second job on next Tuesday. Should be able to subscribe in a couple weeks to the new site. Beautiful. I'm looking forward to seeing you over there. And listen, you can go on now for free and sign up, and just see what it's like too. I'd love you to do that. Let's see. Hi, Moonbeam. Thank you, my friend. It was so good to see you on the show last night. You're amazing, as I always thought. Absolutely. Yeah, X is a joke. X is ridiculous. And what we don't realize is they really are trying to. They're not trying. They absolutely are manipulating our emotions with their high tech, surveillance and manipulation. And I mean, it's just off the charts. Yeah. Yeah. At any rate, Steve, good to see you, my man. Good to reconnect with you here, Dave. Keep snetterizing them. Steve's an old friend and work associate from back in the day in LA, who reached out to me. So great to hear from you, Steve. And I haven't gotten back to your latest email, but the flesh colored sweats, yeah, those were tough to look at every day. I got to be honest. Penny, for your thoughts, said I grabbed the wrong tube today and started brushing my teeth with cortisone cream. Well, I guess they stopped itching, huh? Yeah, unbelievable. I would do that without my glasses or contacts. Yeah. Yeah, I bet that didn't taste good. So my friends, happy Thanksgiving Eve. I think everyone's kind of getting into the spirit of being grateful for waking up in the morning, every breath we take, because there's a lot of people that we know that don't have that ability anymore, that have left us, and that can be kind of a tough thing, and it can even be somewhat of a downer. But my gosh, what a blessing to have had them in our lives. And how grateful I am for all of them, and the love that they showed me, the support they showed me over the years. My mother, my father, my brother, my friends, some listeners. It's it's very necessary, I think, to just stop and pause once in a while and just say, you know what, I'm a very fortunate human being. Glad to, I'm grateful to you all for your support, for your words, your prayers over the years. Coming up on 7 years doing this live several nights a week. Every show, practically everything I've ever done is live. I've done some pre-recorded videos. I'm going to do more of those in the coming weeks and months, and yeah. But just grateful to be on this journey with you all. This journey of awakening. I want to just take for a moment. I just want to kind of do somewhat of an exercise here. Imagine that we don't follow Donald Trump, or we don't support Donald Trump. So just let's check that coat. Like, we got this big heavy coat on, MAGA, Trump, ending the wars, closing the border, so many things that he has done for this country. And let's just take that coat off and check that coat for a moment, and just think about, what if we weren't, fans of that man or fans of the work he's done? Well, how would we view what's happening right now in the world? Now, to me, I've always, played sports, football, basketball, baseball, and you have a scorer's, table, or you have it up on the center of the arena, and it's a scoreboard, and you can see who's winning, who's losing. And there are times when a team is losing almost the whole game, and then comes back and wins the game at the very end. And all that matters is you have one more point than the other person, one more run than the other team, one more, touchdown or field goal. So there's a scoreboard in almost everything we do. Pros and cons, the old Ben Franklin close. You list the pros of something, and you list the cons. And if the cons outweigh the pros, or the severity of the cons eclipse the pros, then you don't do it, or you don't buy it. But if the pros outweigh on that scale the cons, you go forward in that direction. And this is something that we've been gifted as we've grown and learned, and we've been gifted. But the problem is that, just like a butcher with his thumb on the scale, to get a few more dollars out of you, they're manipulating the pros and cons. They're manipulating the scale. And how are they doing that? They're doing that by trying to convince us that there are more cons to a certain subject than pros, or a certain person than pros. And they try to manipulate us, or pro this versus our cons. So what we're experiencing in this world right now is the thumbs on all these different scales, and we can't even trust the scale anymore, because it's been wrong so many times. It's been manipulated so many times. So what I try to do here is try to balance the scales as much as possible. And when the scale away from MAGA or away from a particular subject like justice in the world, justice in this country from the people that have infiltrated our government, uh, when the scales are highly showing us that, these people are bad, they've committed treason, they've, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, just the corruption is just unbelievable. Well, they try to prop them up. They try to prop them up so that they're not weighing down that con scale, and they try to throw all these superlatives and all these positives on this scale to to manipulate our minds. And that's what I see with Snedheads is like, listen, what's going to be censored is is falseness, falsities, lies, propaganda, paid influencers, paid to try to convince you of something that isn't true. Um, memes that try to manipulate you, but don't have any factual basis. Um, all these things we're being bombarded with on these social network sites, and also the sheer level of marketing that is coming at us, especially now with AI, and how AI is, you almost can't even tell the difference sometimes. So we're being manipulated in that way too. But primarily, our information, our privacy, our conversations, our intimate conversations, uh, our locations, our company that we keep, all that information is being sold by these platforms to the highest bidder. So the future is privacy, because that's something, once you give it away and you continue to give away, you don't have. And it's almost like integrity. It's almost like, the reason why you close your drapes before you get dressed. Meanwhile, you've got an app that's following you. You've got a WhatsApp or Facebook that's watching you, listening to you, and you're okay with that. That doesn't make any sense. I've said from the get-go that this revolution has to come from within. It has to come from us. And we have to bring our best selves to this revolution. But the problem is that they use convenience and our inherent laziness to control us. Facebook is free. Snedeheads is free, but if you really want to get involved, it's $17 a month. Wow, that's expensive. Why is Dave charging $17 a month? Well, because Facebook makes about $45 a month selling your private information to the highest bidder. Twitter is manipulating you, marketing to you. All the platforms, TikTok, China has all your fucking information. Like, I'm talking intimate details, like really fucked up stuff. Like, you might as well open up your drapes and undress tonight in your living room with the street lights on. Because that's what you're doing with these other social media platforms. It's just that you don't see it, and you don't know what it is they're taking from you. The future is privacy, because privacy is freedom. And that freedom is growing ever more valuable with each passing day, as we see the big tech and AI behemoths that are absolutely mining, data mining every step we take. So they know which direction they want to move us. And so they're able to use all that information to individually manipulate us into thinking something that does not serve us. And that's what's happening. So the future is private platforms where you can use your name, you can use your face because your information's not being tracked or stolen or sold off to the highest bidder. And there's accountability, there's civility. Okay, you're not being marketed to like you're some kind of you know animal that is just being manipulated, prodded in certain directions. You're not being exposed to, nasty images that they use to for clickbait, to get you to click on things. This is very serious. So this is the future of the internet. This is the future of communities and big tech. No longer being big tech. These are, big tech is the ABC, CBS, and NBC, the CNNs. Okay. This is the PBS, not even PBS, because that's just shit and trash and propaganda, but the local access, right? This is the local access. You get some great stuff on there. And some of the best shows all started on local access back in the day. So these are independent channels, but then you got to be wary of the independent channels that have an agenda, that are financed and moved in a certain direction to get you to think a certain way. And so, what's going on in our world, the scales during the Biden administration were just ridiculous. Like there was no common sense. There was no, but for those who were awake, we knew that it was by design. And here we are in this administration. And again, we've checked our coat. Like we're, Donald Trump isn't our guy for a moment, just for a moment. Right. And here's a guy that is going against everything that administration did, the gender stuff, all of this stuff. I'm not even going to get into it all because it's like, it almost makes me nauseous to think how we allowed our government to do the things that they did in those 4 years. So now we have a guy that shows up for the second time, and he's trying to reverse all those things and trying to do what is common sense and trying to do what is right and just. And there are certain people that will take what he's doing and being okay with it and being happy with it. But there are many of us. And by the way, there's a reason why Q went to 4chan. The anonymity is absolutely a factor, but there are other platforms like Reddit that are anonymous. Q went to there because that's where the autists hang out. And I'm watching a show on Hulu called High Potential, and it stars Caitlin Olsen, who I think is just fabulously talented and funny as shit too. Just in a dramatic actress and so forth, but just really, really fantastic. But she's a high intellectual person. So she's like an autist, like she picks up everything. doesn't miss a beat, doesn't miss a thing, remembers things, knows all kinds of things. And those are the people that Q was reaching out to on the boards. Now, I would love to say that Dave Snedeker was on those boards, uh, because I'm, so, intellectually superior than you. No, but I wasn't. I didn't go to those things. And when I finally did, the day 2 of the drops, when my friend Conan told me about it, and I went on, I was like, okay, I see there's some brilliance in this Q thing. And and at the time it wasn't Q, it was just anonymous. It wasn't Q till drop 61. But there's some real, not just information that I already knew, or some new information that I didn't know, but that there was a brilliance to the posts that you couldn't quite put your finger on. And 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 I would go there for that information, and I saw some of the research the Anons were doing, but I didn't interact because there were a lot of assholes on the boards. Like they have no patience for somebody that can't figure stuff out for themselves, or can't, is questioning something. They might be new to Q and they're coming on, what is this? And they just destroy them. So it wasn't the most welcoming of environments. But there was something to it that it was very unique. It was very special. And this entity, and we don't know who it is. We know Trump's tied into it. We know Scavino's involved. But we know there's 9 that know it all. 3 civilian, 6 military. But we don't know who it is, like, wholly. We don't know everybody involved. We don't know, but we know that there's substance there. Just like the writers of the Bible, or a writer who wrote a great book, who's, Dostoevsky or something, some brilliant writer. We never know him, but we almost can see him through the words on the page that he has written, or has written. And we see their heart, we see their mind, and sometimes, if really written well, we see their soul. And when I read Q and I see the brilliance and the levels and the numbers and the letters and the words and the clock and and the predictions, and it's just, and the sheer dump of information of things that that most of humanity wasn't aware of or has never seen before. I can see the mind of these people. I can see the heart of these people. I can feel the heart, and I can see their soul. I can feel their soul. So while there are a lot of MAGA that are just going to be happy with the border closed and all that, the Supreme Court picks that put abortion back to the states where it belongs, as per Article 10, the 10th Amendment, the no men and women's sports, finally balancing the trade, so that we're not getting screwed every day, that to support these industries, and we're giving the benefit to other countries that have taken away the jobs in the United States. All of these things, stopping these wars, and he's hell-bent on stopping the Ukraine-Russia war, as the 9th, which I hope is marker 9. So we see all these things that he has done, and I feel like I've seen his mind, and I feel like I've felt his heart, especially so many stories. And I feel because he's a part of Q, because he's a part of this whole thing, that I can see his soul. There are way too many of us, not too many, but so many of us that understand that we cannot move forward without justice. We just simply can't do it because we're awake, and we're not going to be satisfied with knowing so many of these people um, that have done horrendous things to the most innocent of us all, the children, and been enslaving humanity for generations, our grandfathers and our parents, that we have awakened to all that, and we are not going to be able to continue on without true justice. And there are so many of us, when people say, what if Q is a psyop? What if no one's coming to save you, like Marjorie Taylor Greene said with her, as she quits, by the way. Okay, the quitter who took her ball and went home because, Daddy Trump spoke negatively to her about her. She did the math. Wow, I'm not going to be able to inside trade anymore. They're taking that away from me, so I'm not going to make those huge returns. I'm not going to win the next election because, I pissed off the wrong guy. So I'm going to take my money and run. Well, I don't like a quitter. I've never respected a quitter. I've never respected somebody that walked off the court. So don't expect me to respect her for doing the same. Now, if this is all part of it, which it very well could be part of the show, to really see who is standing with President Trump, well, then we'll find that out. But I'm not wavering. She's a quitter. She quit before she ran for office. Okay. Her commitment to her constituents was not up until January 5th. So she's quitting, a year early on her obligation to her constituents? No one's talking about that. No one's talking about that. The only person that I've seen really talk about that is Q, when he said, follow the resignations. And the people that are resigning were given a choice. And maybe she's one of the ones that was given a choice. So, okay, hold on one sec. Okay, hold on. Let me play. I need to take that. Sorry, I need to jump and take that, but I will get back to that subject. But let me play this for you. Okay, so I don't have to take that. I just got the text, but let me play this because it is right along the lines of what I'm talking about here.
You remember last year, after a thorough and very rigorous investigation, by Pam Bondi and all of the people at Department of Justice, the FBI, the CIA, the White House Counsel's Office, and the Department of Everything. We have a Department of Everything. You know what that is? I think that's called the White House. Into a terrible situation caused by a man named Sleepy Joe Biden. He used an auto pen last year for the turkey's pardon. So I have the official duty to determine, and I have determined that last year's turkey pardons are totally invalid, as are the pardons of about every other person that was pardoned other than, where's Hunter? No, Hunter's was good. That was the one pardon, Pam, that was good, right? The rest of them are all invalid. I don't know what the hell you're going to do about that, but that's, now we're going to take a little of the joking. That is a mess. But they're hereby null and void. The turkeys known as Peach and Blossom last year have been located, and they were on their way to be processed. In other words, to be killed. But I have stopped that journey, and I am officially pardoning them, and they will not be served for Thanksgiving dinner. We saved them in the nick of time. This one has plenty of time, but they were saved in the nick of time. We're thrilled to be.
So, here is this joking around about pardons, right? And that Biden's pardons are not going to, don't stick, right? But the thing about this is that he also said in that speech, and I thought it was in that one. I'm looking for it, but he said, I was thinking about calling the turkeys Chuck and Nancy, but then I thought, well, no, that's not going to work because I'm not going to pardon them. I would never pardon them. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, right? He's sending us messages. All right. He's remember everything that I've said about predictive programming and how the reason why they tell us things before they happen is so that we start to create those neural pathways in our brain that allows us to see the possibility. It's like the Native Americans that couldn't see the ships because they'd never seen a sailing ship before. It's creating those neural pathways. So when the thing does happen, we're able to process it. And I've been sharing with you for a long time now that the white hats are doing that kind of predictive programming to prepare us for what is to come. Now, the good news is the things that they're preparing us for is pretty significant. And I'll take you to this whole seditious six. Here is Senator Alyssa Slotkin. This is the president's playbook, using intimidation, harassment, and the weight of the federal government to try and silence anyone who speaks up against him. That won't stop Senator Kelly or any of us from standing up for what's right. And everybody reposted Senator Mark Kelly talking about his oath to the Constitution, flight school, multiple deployments, USS Midway, 39 combat missions in Desert Storm, 4 space shuttle flights at NASA. So he knows that there's no space. So he's lying to us about that. His wife was shot in the head, Gabby, while serving her constituents. That was an assassination attempt that I don't wish on any family. So this is the other side balancing the scale. You see, it doesn't matter how many medals he has. He committed treason. I believe Benedict Arnold was decorated, and he committed treason, or what's his name? Committed sedition. Marching orders went out hours ago, fashionably late to the game. And this is all the people who reposted, but they're all in Congress. They're all Democrats. Governor Newsom's office. Okay. It's all the same thing. This is the kind of manipulation that I'm talking about. Okay. So they're trying to tip the scales with rhetoric and with things that don't address the sheer nature of the crime. This is Senator Slotkin's donations from the Soros family. 3,300, okay, 2,800, 2,900, 2,700, all of the Soroses. Now, I don't know how many of them are related, but I imagine a lot of them that's money coming down from George and his son Alex to manipulate this narrative. And this is all the stuff that you see on X, and I'm sure you see it on some of the other platforms. And she was, CIA. Or is CIA. Once CIA, you don't leave the CIA, okay? That's why I never really trusted Robert David Steele. And I have my own story with my interaction with him when I exposed Charlie Ward, and I shared out M. Seeker of Truth's 30 Reasons I Don't Trust Charlie Ward. And when M. Seeker interviewed me, he said, you were the first, major influencer to call out Charlie Ward, and that's why you were on my radar. And I said, yeah, I only needed one reason, because he lied to us about the fake king. And now, by the way, there was, speaking of, well, let me read this for you and I'll get back to that. We worked at the CIA together. Your video for intel and military personnel was seditious. It was a call to ignore the president of the United States, wrapped in a wink of, but make it lawful. It was propaganda. You know what you're doing, and so do I. This is what she did for the CIA. She manipulated governments for the CIA. So I kind of got off on a tangent there because, there was 3 Charlie's Angels that they called themselves. They did a show every week with Charlie Ward, and it was Mel K, Kirsten W, and Ann Vandersteel. And I didn't follow those 3 back in the day because they came up through Charlie Ward, and I knew that he was a fraud. So, but they've made amazing careers. They're making lots of money. Certainly Mel K and Ann Vandersteel. And Kirsten W, I did a few shows with her because she took the video and she watched 30 Reasons I Don't Trust Charlie Ward. And I told her, you got to be done with Ward, because I'm not going to affect my credibility by being associated with him. And people were wanting us to do shows together back in the day. And he was in the chat a few times as well. And we were both like, this was, I think, 2019, and we were both doing some pretty big numbers. So Ann Vandersteel just turned on President Trump. I've not watched Mel K or Ann Vandersteel because of that. She said, I'm MAGA, ride or die, but lately I'm feeling like I'm the punchline to a very painful and destructive joke. Now, Anne supposedly was pro Q back in the day because she did shows with uh, um, Patriot Street Fighter Scott McKay and some others. And I never did a show with her. Information war correspondent, 380,000 followers. And but she's turning on Trump and talking about all the cons of Trump when we have all these pros. You have Candace Owens talking about the cons of Trump, of primarily Israel. Ian Carroll, Ryan Matta. Meanwhile, Ryan Matta is doing like child trafficking stuff. 160,000 children from Guatemala that were taken and crossed the border. And he's going after the guy negatively who stopped all child trafficking across the southern border, Donald Trump. So that doesn't make any sense to me. He's got a new one out talking about CPS as if he discovered CPS as child trafficking children. We've known that for a long time. And in a cabinet meeting, Robert F. Kennedy said Health and Human Services is the largest human trafficker in the world. So they're already looking into that. So I'm done with all these people that are trying to pile on these cons, just like this seditious six. They're not apologizing for the way their message came across, or they're not, saying, maybe we shouldn't have done that. We should have been more specific about the laws that we were talking about. And we shouldn't have insinuated that President Trump is the commander in chief is putting out illegal laws or asking you to break the law. That's exactly what they insinuated. They didn't apologize. They didn't say, negative, things negative about what they did. They are doubling down and making Trump out to be, they're playing victim, and they're projecting that Trump is the one that's out of his mind. Meanwhile, this is, this is a big deal that, that what's happening is sedition. And they're blaming Pete Hegseth and President Trump for calling out the penalty for sedition. As Sir Oliver, our guest from Saturday night, pointed out in his post today, we are here. And he showed us this the other night. This is 11:10 in the military military law manual. I'm forgetting the name of it right now. Authority to suspend ordinary courts. The ordinary courts in occupied territory should be suspended. In other words, the ordinary courts, the ones that we have been shown, predictive programmed, to see as being absolutely corrupted in occupied territory should be suspended only if, one, judges and magistrates are unable or unwilling to perform their duties. Okay. Part of their duties would be like, I recuse myself because I have a conflict of interest. I have a different political viewpoint, et cetera, et cetera. The courts are corrupt or unfairly constituted, which we've seen the corruption. We've seen the unfairness. The local judicial administration has collapsed due to the hostilities preceding the occupation. Okay. In such cases, the occupying power may use its own properly constituted non-political military courts to ensure that offenses against the local laws are properly tried. The occupying power may also reform local courts, including by establishing new criminal courts. Pete Hegseth, let me take you to that. And I'll repost that on my feed. But Pete Hegseth wrote a memo to here. Let me pull this up. I got to move this around here. Memorandum for Secretary of the Navy, because Mark Kelly is naval. Subject: potentially unlawful conduct by Captain Mark E. Kelly, U.S. Navy retired. The Department of War recently received information regarding potentially unlawful comments made by Captain retired Mark E. Kelly in a public video on or about November 18th, 2025. I am referring this and any other related matters for your review, consideration, and disposition as you deem appropriate. Please provide me a brief on the outcome of your review by no later than December 10th, 2025. So we're going to know before Christmas whether or not Mark Kelly is arrested and scheduled for a military tribunal. Now, excuse me, President Trump, meanwhile, the reaction that he had to all this and the predictive programming, if you will, had everything to do with the sedition. And even reposted Kevin Ritello's meme that he had posted of the 6 going behind bars. And this was, and President Trump reposted that, and he reposted 4 of Spiritual Street Fighters. Here, let me show you as I scroll through them. I showed you these last night, but Remember Your Oath, which I used for our thumbnail for today on the show. Thank you, Spiritual Street Fighter, for honoring me with the gift of your artwork for our shows. And by the way, Remember Your Oath, that's a Q saying. TikTok is Q, and it shows President Trump with the Q plus on his collar. So President Trump again is reposting this, confirming Q. Time to obliterate the deep state, do it Q. Okay. That's another one. Nothing can stop what is coming is a Q saying. And it shows the anonymous character, Spiritual Street Fighter. And before that, he posted sedition, the terminology for that, which I showed you last night, the oath of enlistment, the loyalty to the Constitution, and then he also posted this. If your injustice system has been corrupted, how do you bypass the corruption? Military tribunals. Steele said, bring back accountability. The military is the only way. Now, my friends, this is predictive programming for a military tribunal. The only problem is that we have, excuse me, people like, let me show you this other one. Oh, I need to go back to Truth. Sorry. This is a repost of Truth and sedition. I'm sorry, treason and sedition. Activities affecting armed forces generally criminalizes knowingly advising, counseling, or urging any member of the U.S. military to disobey, desert, or refuse lawful orders. Okay, so by them insinuating that President Trump's lawful orders were unlawful, is the problem. Okay. So they say, oh, we said unlawful. Yeah, but you insinuated that President Trump's orders were unlawful with intent to interfere with military operations or loyalty, penalty up to 20 years in prison and $250,000 fine. And he shows the six, and but the Mark Kelly, see, his is a military tribunal because he is military. So I believe they are setting the stage for military tribunals for that particular violation of the law, because we can't get justice in our civilian laws, in our civilian courts. So this is happening. And there are anons, autists, patriots that have, followed Q and followed President Trump. And we will not be happy. And all of those who are our audience will not be happy with just general, making the country better. And so when people say, what if Q's a psyop? I'm like, they fucked up because they told us too much. They awakened the masses. And I've said this many, many times. If President Trump doesn't follow through on Q, all of his properties, his beautiful hotels will be as valuable as a Motel 6. Because the left won't stay there. Some of the right will, but, those that are truly awake will not stay there. And he won't go down as the greatest president in history because somebody else has to come in and do what he didn't do, which would happen because people are awake now. So I'm not concerned. I'm not worried that this isn't going to happen, that justice isn't going to be served. I absolutely know that it's going to happen. I'm seeing it happen. I'm seeing this whole Comey and Letitia James happen to be, thrown out of court on the same day by the same judge. And we think, many people think, oh God, see, it's not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen to these people. And I believe this is all scripted to show us that we cannot rely on the judicial system for our justice that we know is so badly needed in this world. We still have 550,000 sealed indictments that have not been unsealed, which tells you that the research, the investigations, the proof has already been sought and organized in a file to present to a judge to say, we have this information, we're seeking an indictment. The judge says, yes, I see this information. I see the proof. I see, the recordings, or I listen to the recordings. You can have your indictment. And then they say, well, we want it sealed. Well, why do you want it sealed? Well, we want it sealed because that person worked with this person and this person and this person and this person and this person, and we want to get all of them. But if we indict this person, these people are going to disappear, or all of their, documentation is going to disappear, and we won't be able to be as effective in, arresting them and indicting them. So this is all set up, in my opinion. And again, this is my opinion. This is not, if you believe differently, let me hear it. But it's impossible to look at all these things that are happening and say these people are going to get off. Well, the answer is yes, they are going to get off if we allow the very people that are complicit and also criminals to mete out that justice. Okay. So, we've had to, go to, this is, one of the posts from a few days ago. I think we covered this Friday night. But in a 5-4 ruling, the Supreme Court has just handed President Trump sweeping wartime powers under the 1798 Alien Enemies Act, allowing mass deportations of Tren de Aragua gang members classified as an invasion force straight to El Salvador's mega prison. Maybe I didn't report on this. This was 3 days ago. Let me play it for you, though.
Now we have a Fox News alert. The Supreme Court just cleared the way for Trump to deport illegals even faster.
I'm not going to get into that whole thing. Thank you, Jesse. But I already said what it is. But what's very interesting here is that a judge blocked that, if you remember, and the Supreme Court had to overrule that. Now, what happens if the Supreme Court votes to say that President Trump, that tariffs are a tax, and the only entity that can levy tax is Congress? If the Supreme Court rules on that, we got to send all that money back, trillions of dollars. And as President Trump has said multiple times, that leaves us in a very difficult predicament, and it affects and challenges our national security, which he has now posted at least 3 times. That is something that cannot happen. So the court system is corrupted, but what happens when we get to the Supreme Court? And that is corrupted as well, and is voting in such a way that is very, very detrimental to our country. Well, guess what? That's when the military steps in. And that's when the proof, which you and I have enough proof, by the way, of the illegality of these judiciaries, and how they're doing anything they can. They're trying to stop President Trump from blowing boats out of the water in Venezuela. He's trying to keep Americans alive by killing those that are killing Americans. Make no mistake, they are killing us. They killed 100,000. If we were at war with Venezuela and they killed 100,000 of our people, hey, we've gone to war over a couple thousand people. World War II, the Afghan War, the Iraq War, they tried to pin that on 9/11 as well. So these are all false flags that get you and I to buy into war, get young men and women to enlist, to go fight for their country. They're mentioning, or they're mentioning their love of their country and wanting to protect their country. But before that happened, they had to be convinced that their country was in danger from the very people they were going to kill. And in the result of Iraq, 1 million people died, 500,000 children, 500,000 children. If you're appalled at what happened in Gaza, and I know many of you are, we should be equally appalled at what happened and what the United States did, God bless America, to Iraqi children. And that was all by the deep state that is presently, in my opinion, being dismantled magnificently, strategically, and without regard to your and my comfort level of the timing. Because it can't be about you and I. It's got to be about doing it right and making sure that we never, ever come back to this place again in human history. Because we have financed our own demise. We have financed our own surveillance state. We contribute to it with pictures of our granddaughter's first day of school, or our children's weddings, or parties that we go to, or special events, anniversaries. We are giving them all this information, and we are a part of the problem in that regard. So the revolution must come from within, and the revolution that I'm speaking of is the one that is going to free humanity, and nothing less will do. The taxation is going to be taken care of. Trump is already creating the External Revenue Service in January. These things take time. But he's creating the External Revenue Service, but he told us he was going to do that a while back. Why should the U.S. citizens have to foot the bill for all these things when we're having completely unfair trade with people that are supposedly our allies and our friends? How are they being a friend to us? How is Israel being a friend to us? How is the UK being a friend to the United States? How is China being a friend if the trade is so out of whack, out of balance? So we are in a very unique time in human history when humanity has the opportunity to free ourselves. But the reason why Q invited us into the huddle is because we are needed. We are necessary for this very important time in human history. We are necessary. Q said on Thanksgiving Day, on the Deltas for Thanksgiving in 2022, Q said, be aware of false prophets. I am not a prophet. You are not a prophet. We are not prophets. Focus on the mission. Oh, Q's a cult. Yeah, Q's a cult that says that I'm not a prophet. Okay. Q's a cult that teaches us Socratically by asking us questions. Q is a cult, one that demands that we think for ourselves. Q is a cult. Meanwhile, Q is giving us information that is detrimental to the very enslavement that we find ourselves in. Cults try to enslave, not free people. Q&A in time, Q says. And Anon asked about a Q&A. But one of the most important drops was Thanksgiving Day, and it was the last drop that we've heard of from Q. November 27th, 2022. Now, Q has been communicating to us, obviously, since then. It's like, Revelation in the Bible was written a long time ago, but people still refer to that Many books that I spoke about, earlier that are just timeless classics. People still go back and read them, even though, that writer hasn't written a book in 100 years. And Q said, the very last post, and Q is also communicated to us through the drops at timestamps with President Trump, with Dan Scavino, with even some of the controlled accounts like Hillary Clinton, who we know her account is controlled by the White Hats, just plain and simple based on her posts and the timestamps that lead back into the drops, which she's well aware of. And Q is also communicated to us through Ingersoll Lockwood website. And Q says, ask the question, what is coded in your DNA? Who put it there? Why? Mankind is repressed. We will be repressed no more. Information is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Information is power. How do you protect your DNA? There is a war for your DNA. Protect your DNA. Ascension. Now, talk about a post. Holy shit. Especially when the mRNA, which I do not believe was the warp speed that President Trump created, but rather not much later, but when Biden took office and the deep state, Biden took office, which we know he was never inaugurated properly. We know that it wasn't Biden. We know so many things. And we understand that there was a continuity of government that we believe that the White Hats had, but allowed the deep state to take these actions because, as Q said multiple times, you can't tell people the truth. You must show them. Enjoy the show 100 times, knowing that what we're watching is a show that is meant to wake others up. But we, as Anons, as awakened patriots, understand how necessary this is, how important it is that when all this comes out, that 99% of us aren't in the hospital, which we've been taken to recently. So Charger Lady says, yes, B, I have family with TDS, upsetting, but they prefer to look the other way. And it's not just looking the other way. It's their head up their ass, or their head in the sand so that they don't see the truth. The truth of, for example, the Comey and Letitia James, like, we know for a fact, that they broke the law. We've seen the documentation. So why were those cases thrown out? Well, because the judiciary is corrupted. And we needed to see that. But make no mistake, they're going to go down. They're going to go down hard. And I believe it's going to be the military. Okay. President Trump just sent out something 51 minutes ago. I'm going to share that with you, and we're going to do a live.
On behalf of the First Lady and the entire Trump family, I want to wish all Americans a very, very happy Thanksgiving. It's a great time of the year, and our country is doing really well economically, like we've never done before. Today, we continue a time-honored American tradition. In a few moments, I will grant a full, absolute, and unconditional presidential pardon to two handsome Thanksgiving turkeys and this is their lucky day. This is a lucky day for them. I hope all Americans will have the chance to enjoy the fellowship of family and friends and renew our faith in God's providence. And now let's go and give Gobble your pardon. Gobble,
There you go.
I just want to tell you this, very important. You are hereby unconditionally pardoned.
So praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. There you go. You're right.
Now, what's interesting about that is that in his speech, and I was starting to get to this earlier about he was going to name them Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, but each of the turkeys, but that wouldn't work because he would never pardon them. That means those indictments are coming. That's the predictive programming I'm talking about. Those indictments, without question, are coming. And it's important for us to understand that and almost be like when you really know that, you really don't have to prove it to anybody, right? You don't have to, you really don't have to prove that. Now, I want to go to the video timestamp on that, by the way, was a minute 5 seconds. Now I do a minute 5, but I also do I'll sometimes do 65 because that is the seconds. But let's start with 105. Please pray. Operators are in harm's way, high risk, high value targets. Please pause and give thanks to those who would die to save our republic. More to follow. Now, why is he sending us here? Why was that video a minute 5 seconds? Because those turkeys he was going to name Chuck and Nancy. High value targets. Okay. Very, very important. 65 was flash traffic, 3-letter agency embedded, tracking up channel into POTUS Twitter to specifically target through specialized geo and send his location. We anticipated this post a few hours ago. It has begun. Perhaps more posts follow as expect imminent departure, meaning imminent departure from Twitter, because Twitter, the higher ups, Jack and all of them, Prince Al Walid of Saudi Arabia, they were able to track President Trump in real time via his tweets. They could do that to him. They could do that to you and I. Specialized geo targeting. So they used that to try to assassinate him. Okay. So that's the 65. I don't find it as significant of that particular post as 105, but it's significant in the sense that those are the people that have been trying to take him out. Assassination, multiple times, by the way, multiple times. Impeachment twice, lawfare against him, which was just dropped. Letitia James was one of them, right? So these are the same people. Now, let's go. We dropped the 0. October 31st, 2017. There are more good people than bad. The wizards and warlocks, inside term, will not allow another satanic evil piece of shit control our country. Realize Soros, Clintons, Obama, Putin, etc. Okay, those two turkeys, Chuck and Nancy, are etc. Are all controlled by 3 families. The 4th was removed post-Trump's victory. That was the House of Saud. The other are Soros, Soros Rothschild and the I believe the Pindar family or possibly the Clintons, because so much of this is about the Clintons. 11-3 Podesta indicted, 11-6 Huma indicted. Manafort was placed into Trump's camp as well as others. So he was placed there to spy on Trump. The corruption that will come out is so serious that deals must be cut for people to walk away. Marjorie Taylor Greene? Possibly. Otherwise, 70% of elected politicians would be in jail. You are seeing it already begin. Now, think about the seditious six. That's big news today. They were all senators. They were all in Congress. And now all of Congress is reposting. By the way, I've got to show you this. The post by Mark Kelly. They're all doubling down. Okay. You are seeing it already begin. A deep cleaning is occurring, and the prevention and defense of pure evil is occurring on a daily basis. They never thought they were going to lose control of the presidency, not just Dems, and thought they had control since making past mistakes, JFK and Reagan. Good speed, patriots. P.S. Soros is targeted. What did I just show you? Soros was the financier of many of those who did that seditious video. Think Mirror, go to 51, One Nation Under God. This is a story of an Anon who was just at his wit's end, and hope that, QAnon is going to do this and make it happen. Dear Patriot, and this is, by the way, from the White Hats. This was signed. This was number 51. This is 10 drops before Q even signed as Q. So it's still from Anonymous, but this particular message, by the way, this is from an Anon, but all these were, signed, were anonymous. Like 15 was anonymous. That was a Q post and only went by anonymous until drop in Q. So the White Hats, and it's not the White House, it's the White Hats. Dear Patriot, we hear you. We hear all Americans such as yourself. The time has come to take back our great land. The time is now. Rest assured, POTUS is backed by the absolute finest people alive who are all dedicated to the eradication of evil and corruption from the U.S. world. Find peace. God is with us. God bless and be safe. Now, why is this the White Hats and not the White House? Because POTUS is the White House. And he wouldn't speak of himself in third person necessarily. Okay. So they're dedicated to the eradication of evil and corruption from the U.S. and world. Find peace. God is with us. God bless and be safe. All these are fantastic messages. But if they don't come around to real justice, there's no way in hell that we're going to be okay with that. No way in hell. Okay. Now, let me take you to the post that I was talking about. And it was Pete Hegseth's response to Mark Kelly and his, his uniform and his medals, etc. Okay. And man, I got something else that you're going to love too. Holy cow. Let me find that. Well, let me play this for you while I find it. Here we go.
interesting. Let's welcome to the show U.S. Army Special Forces veteran Jim Hansen. Jim, I wonder if Senator Slotkin knows that A Few Good Men was a fictional story. What say you?
I'm shocked. I was unaware as well. These people knew exactly what they were doing. They were using the credibility of their offices and their previous experience in the military or the intelligence community to try and convince some poor soul who's currently serving to throw away their career pretending that President Trump had issued an illegal order. Now, in that video, they weren't talking if you get an illegal order. They said things like, you must disobey illegal orders. You know, the threat is domestic, no longer foreign. You must be brave, those kind of things. They were not talking about the future. They were trying to suborn sedition, and now they're being held accountable.
You know, Jim, it feels like this could backfire big time on Democrats.
I think it already has. Any normal person knows what they were trying to do. And now out of them, you know, they're all under the potential penalty of U.S. code that says you are not allowed to undermine good order and discipline in the military. But Senator Mark Kelly's a retired officer. He's still bound by the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which has much more stringent rules, and he could be held accountable for that. Pete Hegseth put out a tweet today saying that he might open an investigation and bring him in and call him on the carpet for that.
Yeah, would you think that appropriate?
I think it's absolutely appropriate because that's what they were trying to do. They were undermining the commander-in-chief. They wanted to cause a problem for President Trump to be able to execute the lawful orders, and holding them accountable for that right now will tell other people not to do the same.
Yeah. I mean, this is what's so important about this is that other people must see that this is not a way to move forward. Now, this is from Amuse. Okay, I'm going to play this for you. Now, Pete Hegseth said that your medals are in the wrong positions, and and this is, if you're gonna do this, you got to do it right. He says, so Captain Kelly, not only did your sedition video intentionally undercut good order and discipline, but you can't even display your uniform correctly. Your medals are out of order and rows reversed. If you are recalled to active duty, it'll start with a uniform inspection. Okay, and this was the post that everybody saw. Amuse said, if you're going to flex your rack online, make sure it is squared away. Disgraced Mark Kelly's, one of the seditious 6 senators, rack rows shows several huge errors. His Defense Meritorious Service Medal and Meritorious Service Medal are pushed outward, while lower precedence awards like the Kuwait Liberation Medal, Southwest Asia Service Medal, and National Defense Service Medal sit in a more prominent inboard positions. On the ribbon bar, the Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal and Sea Service Deployment ribbon are placed ahead of higher precedence decorations such as the Air Medal and Navy Commendation Medal. On the medal cluster below, the Legion of Merit and Air Medal are buried beneath service medals like the NATO Medal and National Defense Service Medal, which should be near the bottom of the stack. These reversals violate Navy precedence rules requiring the highest honors to appear inboard and for full-size medals to match the order of their corresponding ribbons. Now, Grok says that the image is flipped. Okay. But he still had things above that should have been below, and vice versa. Okay. Now, let me go to this post, which is hold on, I got to go back to my bookmarks here. I know I bookmarked it. This is very frustrating to find it now. But basically, here it is. Highwayman said, well, if the image is reversed, Why does this say NASA? NASA, why States Navy? Why isn't the verbiage reversed? Expeditionary service, expeditionary service. So Asia, okay. And so, because Grok said the image was reversed, but still there's some below that should be above. But the words haven't been reversed. So then Grok said, well, some, photography apps go ahead and switch the words. Well, no photography app is going to be able to see these words and reverse those words and make them, accurate. No question. I mean, there's no way that that's even an option. Now, does this make me think less of Mark Kelly than I already do, which is I don't think much of him for this seditious attempt at, undermining the commander-in-chief. But no, it makes me think that we are watching a show, but the people that are awake are going to notice such things in such a way that we call them out and we know we're not going to, that we're paying attention, right? Now, I'm going to play Senator Slotkin's remarks today in, I believe she's in Michigan today. So I want to play this for you.
Myself and 5 others who are either former intelligence or former military officers put out a video restating the law that's in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. That if you're given an order that's illegal, according to the UCMJ, you have the ability to push back on that order. Legal orders should always be followed, right? Just talking about illegal orders. We had a ton of folks in uniform and a lot of veterans come to us and raise real concerns about things that they were asked to do or things that they were concerned they might be asked to do, particularly with the deployments of the National Guard and uniformed military into our city streets, places like Chicago, and the strikes in the Caribbean against drug cartels. The legality, particularly on the going after the drug cartels, it's a secret list of groups that we're now in armed conflict with, and it's based on a legal explanation that's classified and not available to the operators who are carrying out these strikes. So they started coming to us and saying like, hey, I'm not sure what to do. Do you have any thoughts? Do you have any advice? And that's where the video came from. This is unfortunately not a hypothetical conversation. In 2020, President Trump didn't like the unarmed protesters that were in front of the White House in Lafayette Square. And he suggested to his Secretary of Defense and his chairman of the Joint Chiefs in the Oval Office, can't they just, quote, shoot at the legs of the unarmed protesters? Secretary of Defense and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, I give them a lot of credit. They knew immediately that would meet the definition of an illegal order. And they got out of there as fast as possible so that he didn't demand and try and get them to carry out that order. But here's the thing, regardless of whether you agree with the video or don't agree with the video, the question to me is this the appropriate response for a president of the United States to go after and seek to weaponize the federal government against those he disagrees with? We're not the first group of people that he's done that with. We are not going to be the last group of people to do that. He's tweeted dozens of times about us in the past 72 hours or so, as has the vice president, saying that we should be arrested, we should be tried, we should be convicted, and made clear repeatedly that the sentence for that crime would be hanging. He's repeated that over and over, both in his statements and in memes. Because of that, we saw an immediate and massive uptick in the number of death threats that we got. I mean, we couldn't, hundreds up, it's got to be past thousands now, both in calls to our office, in emails. The Capitol Police and the Sergeant of Arms decided to put myself and others on 24/7 security. They're here today. We had a bomb threat at my family farm where I live. My family has been harassed. It's been an immediate change to our life. And then last night, the counterterrorism division at the FBI sent a note to the members of Congress saying they are opening what appears to be an inquiry against the 6 of us. To be honest, the president's reaction and the use of the FBI against us is exactly why we made the video. He believes in using the federal government against his perceived adversaries, and he's not afraid to use the arms of the government against people he disagrees with. He does not believe the law applies to him. He has said that every which way to Sunday, which is exactly why we made the video, to give people some assurance that they weren't alone as they watch this stuff unfold. This is a scare tactic by him. He is attempting to use the FBI to scare us out of continuing to talk and have conferences like this. And I think it is a well-worn tactic of people who are trying to intimidate adversaries, their perceived enemies, out of public criticism of themselves. And again, this is not about any one video or even one sentence out of a video. This is about who we are as Americans, how we're going to engage with each other, whether we're going to use law enforcement and the military to target legally people who say things that is basic freedom of speech and restating existing law. Now, obviously, you hear I have a cold, but regardless of that and the attempts to intimidate us, that is not going to stop me or anyone else who made this video. In fact, I think it's more important than ever, given that he's used this same tactic on the private sector, on law firms, on universities. We are not the first group and we are not the last group that he is going to use the arms of the government. And again, if he's going to use the FBI against members of Congress, what would he do to average citizens who don't have that elected cover? So it's not going to stop me. It's not going to stop others. I feel strongly that we were doing what we believed was right based on our oath of office to the Constitution. And if he wants to use the FBI and Kash Patel against us, that is his choice, but it just reaffirms why we made this video in the first place.
So interesting. Interesting that she's doubling down. By the way, does anybody else feel like on all her videos, by the way, not so much this one, but if you turn off the volume, you could swear that she's speaking to a child. That is also a neurolinguistic technique to show dominance of whoever's listening, by almost speaking to them as if they're children, but being edified in a position of power. So, so this is one of the seditious 6. So they're doubling down on this. Okay. Now, again, they may not be found guilty of sedition in even a military court, but they're certainly going to sweat it out. And they have successfully implanted the idea that no one is above the law, including 6 U.S. senators and a decorated veteran among them. So to me, this is just a little bit of predictive programming. And
myself and 5
also
others.
Just she's just trying to justify their actions. And basically, honestly, every time if they are found to be have committed sedition, which I believe they have, their doubling down on that sedition. So this is not a good look, right? Not a good look at all. So Let me show you not op Q. We follow each other. I think this is a great follow if you're not already following not op Q. OG and on here. And CIC at POTUS, Trump posts X post from Steele about military tribunals, which I showed to you last night and again tonight. For a corrupted justice system, captioned the military is the only way, which similarly appears in the Q drops. And bring back accountability. The military is the only way. If your justice system has been corrupted, how do you bypass the corruption? Military tribunals. And shows the Q drop. The only way is the military. The military is the only way. So President Trump reposted this, and which is also drop 26, right? So very, very important that we understand the psychological warfare that's being conducted here on both sides. And if Alyssa Slotkin is reading a script by the White Hats, she's doing a great job of it. And what's more important is that we're seeing that this is not okay, and this is, breaking the law. And so it's just, but because those 6, by the way, have committed the least crimes of so many of the senators. And so that's something that's really, that we need to look at. Now, I want to shift gears here off that, but that's a very big one. That's why I've spent so much time on this. This is why I started the show with this, because this is so important. But don't get discouraged about Comey and Letitia. Don't get discouraged that these people aren't locked up already for this sedition. This stuff takes time. But in the meantime, this is psychological warfare, and it is creating these pathways in our brain that are going to accept this when it does come to play a role. Now, we talked about last night about what President Trump has done in Memphis and what he's done in Washington, D.C., and the huge success there, and even spoke about some of these leaders, so-called, that are pushing back against this. And Elon Musk, 11 million people have seen this. Murderous thugs should be incarcerated so that they can't murder people. Doesn't matter what their race is. Obviously, this is the mayor of Chicago.
We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried that, and we've ended up with the largest prison population in the world without solving the problems of crime and violence. The addiction on jails and incarceration in this country, we have moved past that. It is racist, it is immoral, it is unholy, and it is not the way to drive violence down. We cannot incarcerate our way out of violence. We've already tried.
Now, President Trump has called this gentleman a low IQ individual. And I would love to see an IQ test on this guy, and I would bet money that it's double digits. I mean, it's like, unbelievable that we're even having this conversation, right? This is the one I wanted to show you that I couldn't find earlier. Joe Rambo shared this. This is the one that I wanted to show you.
Today go by the names of Gobble and Waddle. When I first saw their pictures, I thought we should send them, well, I shouldn't say this. I was going to call them Chuck and Nancy. But then I realized I wouldn't be pardoning them. I would never pardon those two people. I wouldn't pardon them. I wouldn't care what Melania told me. Darling, I think it would be a nice thing to do. I won't do it, darling. These are two of the largest turkeys ever presented to an American president, over 50 pounds each. It's the largest we've ever had. And those are big turkeys. Are they as good as the normal sized turkey? Better or as good? Do they tend to be a little fatty, maybe? No, he said no. He knows the turkey business. Anyway, despite their size, Secretary Kennedy has formally certified that these are the first ever Maha turkeys. I don't know if I agree with that. These are Maha. In other words, they could be fat, but they're still Maha. They've been fattened on a steady diet of grass, beef, to allow the smoothies and all of the other things that they've been eating for this occasion. This was a really big occasion, but they've eaten every fattening food that you can eat. We wanted to really make them special, and they really are. They're like record-setting. I've never seen a turkey that big before. Are they violent at all? Will they attack as I walk over? Because if they were, I'll stay right up here. But as you know, we're a tough on crime administration. We are tough on crime. You know, our border had 0 people coming in for the last 7 months, right? 0. I mean, even I find that hard to believe. They had millions and millions of people pour into our border from prisons, from mental institutions, gang members, drug dealers. They poured in.
So who's he talking about there? You know, talking about Chuck and Nancy, talking about not giving them a pardon. Why would he say that? Q said, have you known POTUS to ever say anything that didn't come true? No. He doesn't say those things unless he knows they're going to happen. I'm telling you flat out, this is the way that we have been, that this operation is happening. Now, speaking of which, in which, by the way, this is another reason, okay? This is from Melissa Redpill. Now, I found it very odd when Comey's video recently, let me play that for you.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to my Substack. Last week's cold turns out to have been COVID, quite a flashback. And Donald Trump is still president and still humiliating America on a national stage, standing next to Vladimir Putin. It's like a dream, a bad dream you can't wake up from. But I don't want to talk about that bad dream this week. I want to talk about a truly inspirational public figure named Taylor Swift. Of course, I watched her podcast interview with the Kelsey brothers. Of course, I watched the whole thing, although on YouTube, Patrice and I got kicked off for the last 15 minutes and finished it on her phone. But I watched it and provided us a soundtrack, really, as we've grown.
So that was a post on August 17th. Okay. This is September 25th.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs. My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump. But we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid.
Yes, he is. Somebody says that they're not afraid, they're afraid. That was September 25th. This is November 24th.
I'm grateful that the court ended a case against me, which was a prosecution based on malevolence and incompetence, and a reflection of what the Department of Justice has become under Donald Trump, which is heartbreaking. But I was also inspired by the example of the career people who refused to be part of this travesty. It cost some of them their jobs, which is painful, but it preserved their integrity, which is beyond price. And I know they will serve again. This case mattered to me personally, obviously, but it matters most because a message has to be sent that the President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. I don't care what your politics are. you have to see that as fundamentally un-American and a threat to the rule of law that keeps all of us free. I know that Donald Trump will probably come after me again, and my attitude is going to be the same. I'm innocent, I am not afraid, and I believe in an independent federal judiciary, the gift from our founders that protects us from a would-be tyrant. When I was a kid, my parents would wake us up for school every morning by snapping open the shades and saying, "Time to rise and shine and show the world what you're made of." Well, it's that time, America. It's time to stand up and show the fools who would frighten us, who would divide us, that we're made of stronger stuff, that we believe in the rule of law, that we believe in the importance of doing things by the law. So stand tall, shine, and keep the faith.
Now, these videos have come to be known, and I want to thank MJ Truth Ultra. Melissa Red Pill used his cuts on these videos. That's MJ Truth Ultra. Give a follow. Great account. These have been come to be known as the hostage tapes, because he's in this against this bland wall, and he's wearing the exact same clothes, the exact same suit, tie, and shirt. Okay. This, my friends, to me, is not an accident. This is sending us a message. Why else would you put on the same exact outfit 3 months apart, 4 months apart? Okay. The same outfit, and we're supposed to believe. And by the way, he looks exactly the same. Like all 3 videos, he looks like he was just, take 1, take 2, take 3 in the same day. Now, maybe his hair is off.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to my
bit.
Substack.
There's one hair. Okay.
My family and I have known for years. I'm grateful that the court
differently. That's very easy to do, to make it look different. But to me, this is, what do you guys think of that? What do you guys think? Yes, and get your name on the wheel for a spin of the wheel for a free t-shirt and a free year of Snedeheads. This may be the last time we give away a free year of Snedeheads, by the way. Maybe giving away some different things. But just to let you know, this may be the last time we give away the free year to Snedeheads, because I'm shifting into a different model for that I know that you're going to love and want to be a part of. So I just wanted to mention that. And then you can also go to Snedeheads and go to Donation Nation. And you can also go to the Stripe account directly, and I'll drop that in the chat as well. So, but what do you guys think of that? Like, what do you think of everything that's happening here? Like, give me some feedback as to what you're experiencing. Oh, this is hilarious. I just went over to Snedeheads, and Kathleen Bossy posted her snow angel from last year. No, we got to see you in it this year. Okay. We got to see you in it, and maybe some video of you getting up. So, at any rate, this is, thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. So I'm going to drop this, in the chat. And this is a donation link. There you go. And it's over on that will put it over on, I think, YouTube now. And yes, and then I'll put it over on, I'll put it over here as well. Now, so I wanted to share this with you because this is a post of gentleman I saw today, and I think it's very important. And this is talking about the EU and European citizens, but very, very important. Here we go.
The funny thing about all of this is that the lady pushing this, Ursula von der Leyen, deleted, yes, let me say it again, deleted her own text messages with Pfizer and refuses to hand them over, even though she is legally obliged to do so. That's right. The lady that's pushing the mandates, the lady demanding transparency from EU citizens, is refusing to hand over her own text messages. Do you see the hypocrisy here? The rules are for you. They are not for them. And I'll prove that to you in a short clip in a moment we've got coming up. So while governments talk about keeping us safe online, etc., what they're really doing is building architectures of surveillance. And this is just one point, by the way. We've got more to go over. And let's be honest, if your phone is being scanned and your messages are being intercepted, then how private is your information really? And this is just the beginning. There's so much more that they are going to be doing digitally with communications. In fact, this on screen here is an official document posted by the EU Parliament on the 17th of August this year. And it's titled Proposed Chat Control Measures, Risks to Privacy and Encrypted Communications. So the first line here reads, social media users in the member states have expressed serious concerns over the proposed chat control measures that would introduce the widespread scanning of encrypted messages. And guess what? It didn't matter, because the EU unelected leaders believe that those member states answer to them and that they don't answer to the member state. So what their concerns are irrelevant. Now, before we go on to the next points, which are just as serious here, remember, we do have some good news today. My Black Friday sale is now on. This is
Neil McCoy Ward, and this is Neil McCoy Ward, and I just wanted to share that with you because this is the level of hypocrisy and the level of sheer lunacy that we're dealing with in not just in this nation, but other nations as well, and definitely need to see, where we're going versus where other countries are is something that will be absolutely the direction we're going unless we stop this from happening. Let me see if I can find something here for you. But in the meantime, I want to get to your comments and see what you had to say about Comey and all this. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, wearing this exact same suit and tie in all those videos talking about Comey. Yeah, people on X are calling for Cash, Bondi, and Wiles to be fired, but they don't understand Q, so they have no idea that they're playing their role. He's got way too much makeup on. Let's see. Thank you, BP. Hunter Sabo, let's fill up that wheel. I want to give someone a great Thanksgiving gift, but I want the shirt. So you're going to give away the membership since you're already a member. Thank you, Hunter. And let me take you to the wheel actually. And And you know what? I don't know if we're complete, but let me definitely show you what I have so far. And please put in the chat if your name is not on there and you know you're supposed to be on the wheel. I want to give just a shout out to each of you that have contributed to this Truthcast, this content, to my my insight and due diligence on this world that we're living in right now. And I want to start with Steve Fothergill. Thank you, Steve, one of the most recent ones. I want to say thank you to David Buchanan for your $50 donation. Very much appreciate you, David. CR Partners, $10. Deborah Martin, 34. Janet Butler, 10. Donna Schmaltz, 5. Diana Lisi, 50. Thank you very much, Diana. Jeanette Sayers, 17. Thank you, Jeanette, for your consistency and your support. Dina Gildner, $50 last night, and another $50 tonight. Dina, God love you, and thank you for all your support. Ka Nin, $20. Thank you, Ka. Edward Quinn, $5. Linda Prasnick, 25. Tracy Carrera, $100. Thank you very much, Tracy. Much, much appreciated. Eva Hayden, much love to you. Thank you, my friend. I so appreciate you. Greta Petty, $25, by the way, Eva. And Eva's a monthly supporter as well. So thank you very much. Greta Petty, $17. Thank you, Greta. Derek Martin, 17. Thank you, Derek. CR Partners, $10. Thank you. Catherine Drexler, Edward Quinn. And I've got some more that I need to add. Heather Willard, thank you for your $40 donation on the 12th. Margaret Gatley, $25 on the 12th. I want to double check. Did we do one? When was the last giveaway? Do you guys know? Zell from DGM Unlimited, $34. Thank you. And Julianne Vernig, $50. Thank you very much, Julianne. And I'm trying to figure out if that was before or after the last post or the last spin that we did. And I think it was. So please let me know. Gene McKay III, thank you, Gene, so much for your donation. Let me get back to that. And your $25 donation. Deborah Short, thank you, Deborah, for your $5 donation. Very much appreciated. Elaine Steiger, thank you for your $50 donation, Elaine. Let's see. Kathleen Bossy, for your $17. Thank you very much, Kathleen. Sally Timmons, thank you for your $10 donation. Maddie Ice, thank you, Maddie. Let me see where you're at, Maddie. $25. Thank you, my friend, for that. And yeah, and I think Liberty Shines too as well. So there you have it. And I think I have to add those names that I read that I did not put on, but I wanted to see what you guys had to say on the actual last time we did the post. Yeah, he's performing Sedition as well. Yeah, Quasi Pete says fake message. Comey looks staged. Yeah, we don't have enough mental asylums to handle the loonies. Let's see. Let's see. What a complete waste of energy. Yeah, I agree. Ravens Wings, I already believe it's all been done. Actors are playing roles to wake the sleepers up. Most would lose their minds if it occurred too quickly. That's very true. Yeah, I should have someone videoing it. If someone's there, if I can't get up, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I think they are clones because the shape of the face in each picture is a slight different. And the only reason I haven't really gotten into cloning, I mean, it's a big deal, and without question, I think we have the technology that we're not aware of, but I just don't go into that because it takes another level or another step of kind of conspiracy or belief that just doesn't you know it's hard enough to convince people of what's going on without you know trying to convince them that oh, that's not even that person, that's a clone. But I'm with you. I'm with you. That's a good observation. Hard to focus this time of night. Let's see. Okay. Thank you for that. My credit on that particular one. I knew that they were all kind of like these hostage videos, but Melissa Redpill, I want to thank for that. So give credit where credit is due. Yeah, it looks like the same day. Yeah. 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 So there you have it. Clone or masks, could be masks. Yep. 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 And he's in his uniform. All right. Okay. So, was the last wheel spin, was it November 1st? Was it that long ago? And I want to play this for you. This is President Trump talking about this woman that was burned on the subway, on the train. Here we go.
All the crime that took place last night, the night before, the woman with the burning, they burned the woman. To be talking about that now, they burned this beautiful woman riding in a train. A man was arrested 72 times. 72 times, think of that. And they'll let him out again. The liberal judges will let him out again. But we're ready to go. We've been moving toward Chicago. We have a governor that thinks it's wonderful that only like 7 people were killed this week. But we are moving toward doing, and we're going to, if crime gets, it's horrible what's happening in Chicago. We could make Chicago a safe city in a period of 4 weeks. In a period of 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, it would be totally safe. And the people of Chicago want us to go there. And if you look at the crime that's taken place in Chicago in the last 2 weeks, just take a look. It's on the front page of every newspaper. It's out of control. The mayor is incompetent, and the governor is a big fat slob. He ought to invite us in, say, please make Chicago safe. We're going to lose a great city if we don't do it quickly. Make Chicago. We'll do the same thing as we did in D.C., the same thing as we did everywhere we've gone.
Yeah, why wouldn't you just want them in unless there's something greater afoot? And that's very, very, very disturbing to be living in that kind of environment and having your so-called leaders not take any action they can to make you safer. Yeah, if they cloned Dolly the sheep 30 plus years ago, I'm sure they've tried it on many humans by now. Yeah. One of the Cowboys players had his dog cloned. A friend of mine had that done, by the way. BP worked with a hospital that treated burn victims. Yeah, tragic. By the way, I got to show this to you. We're at 2.5 hours. I'm going to try to wrap it up with a wheel spin here, but please tell me if I didn't read your name and you should be on the wheel. Okay. Please let me know. I think I got everybody, and I think we're ready for a wheel spin here very soon. So please let me know, but I got to show you this. This is, this happened. I believe this was happened today. Speaking of a woman on the train. Remember this lovely gal and that horrific incident. This is the final verdict.
Life without parole as to count 4 for the offense of attempted murder.
Life without parole.
Revised Code Section 2923.02A, felony to first degree. Court offense serve a term of 11 years in the Ohio Department of Corrections. As to specification 4 to count 1, court defendants serve a term of 3 years in the Ohio Department of Corrections. Mandatory and consecutive underlying offenses. All those counts are running consecutive each other. Court give credit for time served.
Life in prison.
Life without parole.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, something tells me. I mean, listen, we're never gonna get this image out of our mind. Something was really off about that. But if this went down the way it did, my God, life in prison is too good for that man. Far too good. So some really, in my opinion, some great things happening, folks. And I hope you see that. And I hope that you feel the same way. Not that I want you to feel differently than what you feel, but just that I do the thing that I believe is accurate, and the one that also helps me move forward to fight another day. These black pillars that are out there, just, Trump is bad, the world is bad, everything's bad. What's your solution, people? You don't have one. And that's why Q is there. That's why Q is there. Yeah. They told you the boys from Brazil about cloning. That's right. That's right. All right, my friends, let me take us, if we do not have any more, let me just read these down real quick again. Let me make myself a little smaller here so you can see the names. Steve Fothergill, David Buchanan, CR Partners, Deborah Martin, Janet C. Butler, Donna Schmaltz, Diana Lisi, Janet Sayer, Dina Gildner, Con Nin, Edward Quinn, Linda Prasnick, Tracy Carrera, Eva Hayden, Greta Petty, Derek Martin, Catherine Drexler, Jean McKay III, Deborah Short, Elaine Steiger, Kathleen Bossy, Sally Timmons, Maddie Ice, Liberty Shines 2, Heather Willard, Margaret Gatley, DGM Unlimited, Julianne Vernig, and Christine Ritchie. Yes, please, folks, let me know if I have missed you, because I don't want that to happen. So I'll let it spin a few more minutes, and if you do not see your name on there, and it should be, please let me know. Yeah, and I think I got everybody down there. Okay, how we doing, everybody? How we doing? And by the way, what in terms of Thanksgiving, I may do a drop of Snedheads. I'm trying to get some other products into Snedheads, meaning Sned Shop, I mean. And that is, you can go to snedshop.myshopify.com, and yeah, please check that out. And I'm trying to get some more stuff in there. So check us out maybe this weekend over Black Friday. Now, if I don't do a show tomorrow night, I want you all to have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and then I'll be back either Friday or Saturday night, depending on what's happening. Okay, my friends, let me see. Yeah, I had to change The Art of Silence to another song because I'm being blocked in certain countries. Yeah, I love all our names. Very cool. Okay. I will not be live Thursday evening. Thank you. Thursday I'll be doing Thanksgiving with friends and family. So, okay. Here we go, my friends. I'm very excited. Thank you to all who contributed and keep this show alive. And I very, very much appreciate you. So here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. I see Greta. I see Derek. I see Catherine, Kathleen, Sally, Heather, Margaret. Is it going to stay on Margaret Gatley? I think it is. Yeah. Margaret, congratulations. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving Spin Day. Margaret Gatley, very cool. And thank you for all your support, my dear. You are very, very much appreciated. And again, everybody on that wheel, thank you so much. I love you, and I so appreciate you putting your money, your time towards what I believe to be a very, very important show here. Very, very important work that I've been doing for quite some time. And yeah. And so, yeah, it's wonderful to be here with you all. Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble. Blessed be everyone. BP, Hunter Sable says congrats. And yeah. Fantastic. Thank you again, Dina. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Congrats, Margaret. And Pete, enjoy your family and your grandchildren, and Moonbeam, enjoy your family and your grandchild. And much love to you all. Thank you very much, Shannon. Blessed Thanksgiving, Dave. Thank you for everything you bring to light. You're very welcome. DC, Ben, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Congratulations, Margaret. Night, everyone. Have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. One big happy Q family we are. Yes. Patricia, happy Thanksgiving, Dave, and all the Sneds. Whip and Spur, good night. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Guys, please be in touch with each other over on Snedheads. And if you haven't gotten on there, do me a favor this Thanksgiving. Be thankful that I put together this incredible platform, which was not easy to do. And join us. Join us over there, please. It's free to join, and if you want to support it, it's $17 a month, which again is much less than the money they're making from you. You've got Window to the World, which are all my favorite X posts, and you've got the research tools of the key drops. LAPD are in gears. Hundreds of airline catering workers are protesting outside LAX, blocking a key intersection and disrupting traffic just as the holiday travel rush begins. LAPD are in riot gear. Unbelievable.
Here, these are people's lives. You need to stop.
They're blocking. I would flat out run over those motherfuckers. This is on Century Boulevard. That's a very, very crowded spot. Looks like Century Boulevard. It goes right into the that's a Sheraton. It goes right into the thing. Unbelievable that they're doing that. But at any rate, I was just showing you a little bit about Snedhead. So you got all your X. If you're not on X, you can just see this stuff and you don't ever have to go on X. And then you've got that's a window to the world. You got research. You've got truth feeds here that you can go to straight to President Trump's truth. So Donation Nation upgrade, older videos that I have up, Tyranny in the Storm 2019, Tax on Bobby Kennedy explained, football career highlights, great interview with Rob Cunningham. So you got some older videos that I really like that I wanted to share with you. So please check us out over there. All right, my friends, much love to you all. And I am looking forward to seeing you this weekend. It'll be either Friday, and or Saturday. So I will, connect with you, this weekend. All right. And if I have anything, I may just do a video between now and then if something big is happening. So much love, everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. Thank you for those of you who have made us the 5th largest live show on X right now. Thank you very much for that. And see you soon. Happy Thanksgiving. Hug your loved ones. Don't let any of this nonsense get in the way of you just absolutely living in joy with your beautiful, beautiful people. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you. Good night. Be well.